Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to May I Scraplift You, and I'm combining it with May the 4th Be With You. It's a scrappy inspiration YouTube and Instagram hop. And today I am scraplifting Cassie Wiscarson, and she is on the design team for Paper Issues, but I pulled this image off of her Instagram, and I really like this grid design. I like that it's got that color blocking look going on. And so since I'm combining it with May the 4th Be With You, um, I decided to go with this Star Wars paper. And I don't actually have Star Wars scrapbooking paper, but I have Star Wars wrapping paper, and that's what this is from. So that's why it's kind of curled up there. It's just the wrapping paper quality from Hallmark. Um, and so I'm going to create my grid out of that Stormtrooper paper. And I think it looks kind of cool. So I really like the black and white. And then I will be adding some red as we go along here. But I'm going to work on my background for a bit here, just trying to line things up where I think I want them. And it's really hard to tell because the paper keeps curling on me. So then I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and back it on white cardstock, and that will keep it nice and flat so that I can get somewhat accurate measurements. I was going to say accurate measurements, but they're more like somewhat accurate measurements. They're not perfect, but it does the job. So this helps me out tremendously. The only problem is that the largest piece of paper that I have there, it does not, I don't have any cardstock large enough for it while I'm working at this particular time because I'm not in my regular craft space, and I didn't bring any larger white cardstock other than 4.5 by 6.5 inch matte photo matting cards. So I'm just working with what I've got, which is oftentimes what I do when I'm not scrapbooking at home. So I figured I would leave that place till last, or that large piece until last, and I'll just work on these smaller pieces. And I didn't want all of the big blocks to be kind of at the bottom, so I'm going to kind of start spreading things out a little bit here and working my way from the bottom to the top, trying to leave a black border all the way around that is even and have somewhat even spaces between all of those rectangles and squares that I'm creating out of that Stormtrooper paper. So I start by just getting like the first few of them down, and then I measure the gaps, giving a little bit of extra space to leave a black border around everything because I don't want all of the pieces butted up next to each other. I want them to show that black sliver in between each piece. And so some of them, like, I cut it and then I have to go back and trim it just a little bit. It's not a perfect process, but it does work for all intents and purposes. It might have helped if I had started with a 12 by 12 piece of paper rather than this gift wrap paper. Then I would be able to tell, like, I would be able to cut a certain amount off the edges and know that all of those pieces fit back like a puzzle into a 12 by 12. But no, I'm not doing it. Simply, I have to I have to make things more difficult than they really should be. But I do really like the way that it ends up looking. So there are maybe like a couple of gaps that are slightly different, like maybe a tiny bit larger than the other gaps, but that's okay. In the end, it looks fine, and I'm really happy with the way that it turns out at the end. So what I am choosing to document today is my husband's birthday is December 18th, and for a couple of years they released new Star Wars movies on his birthday. And so I have a photo from 2016 when they released Rogue One, and that was on his birthday, I believe. Or at least we went and saw it on his birthday. They may have released it like the night before, like a pre-release, but we went and saw it actually on his birthday. And then I have a photo of him, my brother, and my son in front of the theater, and so that is what I am documenting. Just that this was like his birthday request was to get a large group of friends and family together and be able to go see the movie. Now, I don't have everybody in the photo because, you know, people come at all different times and you don't want to stand outside the theater waiting because you need to go get your seats so that you get good seats. At least back then, So you could go get good seats right now. I don't know that there's a lot of movies going on. I think things are opening back up in our area, but even just before things closed down, you could reserve your seats. But back in 2016, you could not reserve your seats. So there was no waiting around in front of the theater for everyone to show up, so we could all just go in together. We kind of went in and saved seats in between us so that our friends and family could all be together. So that's why not everyone is in the photo, in case you're wondering. So now I'm just trying to figure out the spacing here. I am going to end up cutting that larger piece down. It is currently 5 by 5, but it's not going to fit in there. So I am going to cut it down, but I'm going to fill in these other spots as best I can first, and then I'll work on that the last. Actually, I'm not even sure if I use that 5 by 5. I think I do, and I think I just trim it down. So trying to get things so that they're all lined up, and I think I did go ahead and adhere some of those bottom pieces down before I finished out the last 2 spots, because I wanted to make sure, like I said, that that black border is the same all the way around, and in order to do that I needed to make sure that I had things glued down at the bottom, and so I could get a really good accurate measurement to make sure that the border around the outside was the same, because that would show really, it would really be obvious if that was like jagged. So a little bit about the series. May I Scraplift You is going on all month long in May, and I'm trying to play along every day. We'll see how far I get. But this is a series started by Crystal Barrett at Pineapple Papers, so she's definitely playing along. And she chose people who follow her on Instagram to go back to their Instagrams and Scraplift them, because she wanted to give back a little bit of love. And so most of the time that's what I'm doing. I'm just following along with her list. There are a couple of days where I have the people flip-flopped, or I might have changed them just to meet some requirements for other hops that I am participating in. So I do believe that today everybody is, well, I don't know, because we did have the option to go and choose anyone we wanted to scraplift, but I believe today Crystal is scraplifting Cassie as well. And then May the 4th be with you. That happens every May the 4th. And I don't know that the hop happens every May the 4th, but we decided to go ahead and do this hop just as a fun nod to Star Wars, and because a lot of us have, Star Wars photos or things that are related to Star Wars, or you could just take your inspiration from Star Wars and maybe use the colors or whatever. You didn't have to go with an all-out Star Wars layout. So what I'm doing here is I am tracing around each one of these pieces of gift wrap with my red Sharpie. In the piece that Cassie did, she has some black sketchy marks or faux stitching maybe around all of hers, and so I wanted to kind of mimic that. I started out with, you can see 2 other red pens there. I started out with my Muji pen, but it wasn't writing really great on the gift wrap, and then I went to the thin Sharpie, and it still was not working really well on that thin, or on the gift wrap. So I went to the fat, regular Sharpie, not the biggest Sharpie, but the regular felt tip Sharpie, and that worked fine. So I was trying to be all exact at the beginning with the ruler, but then I just gave up and said, you know what, I'm just going to trace around it freehand, and it is what it is. And I actually like how it looks, so it works out. So that is my husband in the middle, my son on the right, my brother on the left, and I am just matting the photos in white, red, and black to mimic what I've got going on in the background. And then I pulled out these, I don't believe these are thickers. I think this is the Paper Studio brand of alphas, and that is from Hobby Lobby. So my title is going to be Birthday at the Movies, and I'm using birthday and movies in those red, shiny, sparkly, glittery alphas. I keep wanting to say thickers, but in the alphas. And I just decided to use movies right over the top of the photo because there was nothing really in the photo in that portion. So, and then I'm just using some tiny tile stickers to put at the, and I really like how that looks. And then I'm using my label stamps from the black one is from Stamp Market. I'm not sure if you can find it still. It is called Labeled, if that's something you're interested in. The other one is from Elizabeth Craft Design, and it is definitely available still because I just got that recently. And I am actually looking for the name of that for you as we speak here. So I really like it. It does have it is a Christmas set, so all of the words in it are Christmas related. But I actually just bought it for that label that has, like, you can see it's got the red stripe across it there. Of course, you can stamp it in any color that you want. And of course, I can't find it right now. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. And I will look it up for you. I will definitely find that stamp set and jot a note down to you. Oh, you know what? I think I just found it. I did. It is called Winter Words. So it is Elizabeth Craft Designs CS142 Winter Words. And it just has that label and then a whole bunch of words like white, Christmas, wrapping, cozy. It does have moments, memories, traditions, magical, and together. So there are, and wish list. So it has things on there that are you could use that are outside of Christmas, but it was definitely intended to be a Christmas set. So then I pulled in some blue as well because I just thought it needed a little additional color there. And the little round stamps there, that is from another Elizabeth Craft Design set called Retro Labels, and it is product CS133, if that is of interest to you. And it comes with a whole bunch of different sizes and shapes of labels in rectangles and circles and squares and whatnot. And then I went to my silhouette and I cut out these images, these Star Wars images, just to bring a little more Star Wars into it. I've got a Princess Leia, a Yoda, and the spaceship. It's not an X-Wing fighter. I think it might be a TIE fighter, but I'm not 100% sure on that. That is trivia that I would have to ask like my brother or my son or my daughter. But yeah, so that's, I thought that was just kind of a nice nod. And then just to kind of make them a little bit more interesting, I put some clear embossing powder over the top of them. And then I'm just going to write my journaling in that label there. I also did add some frames. They look like those black photo frames over the top of the labels just to add another layer of dimension. I really like how that looks. So hopefully this is of interest to you and something that you can be inspired by. I would really highly recommend you go check out everyone else playing along with both hops. All of the links are in my description box down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye.